Hello everyone, welcome back to the class. On the previous class we read about the formation of soil, what is soil, which are the different components responsible for the formation of soil, why soil is varied in India, which are the different factors and the soil forming process, and also the residual soil and transported soil, how they are formed and why they are called residual or transported. These things we read. Today we will study about the types of alluvial soil. Now this alluvial soil is the soil which covers most of the part of India. And you know that alluvial soil is called the riverine soil. Why it is called riverine soil? Because the main agent which is responsible for the formation of this soil is the river. The river brings the sediments with it. Through the erosion process, the sediment has been formed, and with river these sediments are brought down along the slope of the hill, and when the velocity of the river reduces near the foothill or in the floodplain area or near the delta region, they will be this river will be depositing the sediments there. So depending on this deposition criteria, where the parent rock is away from the parent rock, the deposition takes place in other places. That's why alluvial soil is called the ex-situ soil or the transported soil. Clear? Now this alluvial soil, depending on this deposition area, one I told the foothill area, just below the hill part, along the foothill part, there it can be deposited. Another I told the floodplain area, there also it can be deposited. And third one I told the delta region, there also it can be deposited. Except these three regions, one more region is there, that is the coastal region along the coastal strips of peninsular India. There also alluvial soil is found. So there are different types of alluvial soil. Let us know one by one. The first one, alluvial soil, is the inland alluvial soil. Just see this. This part is the inland alluvial soil. I have given the index. So this area is called inland alluvial soil. Why it is formed by inland alluvial soil, or why this soil is called inland? Because see, it is inside the land area, just at the foothill of Himalaya. Himalaya ends here, and just below the Himalayan region this soil is found, and it covers which states? Mainly Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, then here is Bihar and West Bengal, except the deltaic part. So these areas are under the inland alluvium. Even this Brahmaputra plain region, okay, this is also inland alluvial soil. Brahmaputra, here the Brahmaputra river is responsible. In Punjab, Haryana, the tributaries of Indus, these are responsible. In Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Ganga and its tributary, they are responsible for the formation of this inland alluvial soil. Now the next one, at first let me finish about the location, then I'll be discussing the characteristics part. So next one is the coastal alluvium. Where it is found? See this index. This is called the western coast and the eastern coast region. Here the coastal alluvium soil is found. Okay. So along the west coast and the east coast. So mostly coastal alluvium is wider, you will find in the east coastal plain, because you know east coastal plain is wider than the west coastal plain. Very few rivers are flowing in this region along the west coast. That's why the alluvial soil region also is very narrow. But in case of eastern coastal region, many big rivers are flowing through this area, like Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. So they are bringing enough sediments with them and will be depositing along the coastal strips. So this is the another coastal alluvium, and third one is the deltaic alluvium. Now this deltaic alluvium, from the name only you can understand, in the delta regions these are formed. So these delta regions are formed by which rivers? Deltas are formed by Ganga and Brahmaputra river, the largest delta you all know. So, in near Sundarban delta region, this part is under the deltaic alluvium. Second one is the Mahanadi river delta. So, in near Mahanadi river delta, deltaic alluvium is found. Third one is the Godavari river delta. So, Godavari is called the Vridganga or the largest river in South India. You all know. This is called Vridganga or Dakshin Ganga. And here the delta is formed. So, this is deltaic alluvium. Then Krishna river, through Krishna river and its tributary, the Krishna delta has been formed. So, this is Krishna. That is also deltaic alluvium. And Kaveri river delta, there also it is found. So, wherever deltas are found, there deltaic alluvium, in the specific region deltaic alluvium is found. Okay. Now, more two types are there. One is the Khadar, another one is the Bhangar. These two names also you will get, Khadar and Bhangar, very important. Sometimes you will be asked, make difference between Khadar and Bhangar. This is very important. Now, let us know what is this Khadar and what is this Bhangar. Khadar is called the new alluvium. Okay, always keep in mind it is called new alluvium. Newly deposited sediments, and Bhangar is the old. Bhangar is old alluvium. Now, where Bhangar is found, where Khadar is found? Let us know the location. Bhangar is found in the inland regions just below the foothill region of Shivalik. Okay, this is formed due to the deposition of conchers. Mainly the coarser sediments are deposited along this region, because you know whenever river is flowing down from the hill region, it brings with it different types of sediments. Some are coarser, some are finer, some are very fine. In this way, the river is bringing the sediments. Now, at first, the sediment which will be deposited along the foothill, just below the hill, that is the coarser sediment, pebbles, cobbles, different conchers, lime nodules. This will be deposited along the foothill region when the river just flowing down the hill. So, due to the deposition of this coarser sediments, lime nodules and conchers, etc., Bhangar is formed along this region. Bhangar is formed along this region. Okay, Bhangar is formed. And another one, this soil will not be replenished. Okay, this will not be replenished. That is the old soil. Once it is formed, it is there only and it will not be replenished. But the other parts like the floodplain region and specifically the deltaic region, here the soil is replenished each year during the annual flood, and also these are deposited by the finer sediments. Here coarser and they are finer sediments. So this is called the new alluvium or Khadar. So Khadar can be found along the floodplain region, along the deltaic plain region too, due to the deposition of new alluvium each year during the annual flood. Clear? So this is the difference between Bhangar and Khadar. So you can understand which one is more fertile. Definitely the new one will be the more fertile, old one will be the less fertile. So Khadar is fertile than the Bhangar. Why? Because it is a new alluvium, that is the old alluvium, and Khadar has the finer texture, where the coarse texture. Conchers are found in Bhangar, but in Khadar no conchers are found. That's why they have good moisture retentivity. So these are the reasons why Khadar is fertile than Bhangar. So whenever you will be asked this type of comparative questions, that why Khadar is fertile than Bhangar, you need to discuss both the sides. Not only the Khadar side but also the Bhangar side. Understood? So this is done, Khadar, Bhangar. So all the locations are understood. Now I will be discussing the characteristics, comparative discussion. See, this inland alluvium and coastal alluvium, what is the difference between them? Inland alluvium is found in the inland region, coastal alluvium is found in the coastal strips of Peninsula India. We have understood this. Second one, this is the locational difference. Now the characteristics. Now this inland alluvium is what type of alluvium? This is the dry alluvium. Okay, inland alluvium is dry alluvium. Now at first let us divide inland alluvium and deltaic alluvium. Okay, now inland alluvium is dry in nature, drier. But in coastal alluvium, the deltaic alluvium, that is humid in nature. Moisture content is more in deltaic region, because I am telling you the deltaic region, the flood phenomena is frequent. That's why it is moisture retentivity is more in case of deltaic alluvium, but inland alluvium is dry. Now inland alluvium is coarser in nature, but deltaic alluvium will be finer in nature. Okay, inland alluvium is coarser, but deltaic alluvium is finer. Finer sediments are deposited along the deltaic region. Now see this inland alluvium, here the texture varies. We cannot say all throughout the area there is coarser alluvium. We can say that coarser to medium fine, medium coarse we can say. Texture differs depending on the deposition of the river in the areas. But deltaic alluvium, definitely finer alluvium will be found, finer texture. Next one is this, in case of inland alluvium, it is porous. It is porous in nature, means so many pore spaces are there. Pore space allow water to percolate easily. And but in case of deltaic alluvium, here also pore spaces are found, but it is compact. The structure is compact. Okay, so moisture retentivity will be more. Here the moisture retentivity will be more, but Bhangar cannot retain moisture for a long time because too much of porous nature. Clear? So this is the difference between inland and deltaic. Now deltaic and coastal, this type of questions are asked. Now deltaic and coastal, what should be the difference? Number one, the locational difference we already have read. Now the characteristic related reference. Now deltaic alluvium, here I told you this is finer texture. But in case of coastal alluvium, sand particles will be more. Sand means it is more coarse. Okay, it is more coarse than deltaic alluvium. So which one is the finest among inland, coastal and deltaic alluvium? Which one will be the finest one? Finest one will be the deltaic alluvium. Okay, so coastal alluvium, sand particles can be found. Even the deltaic alluvium is not that darker. It is lighter, we may say, light in color. But in case of coastal alluvium, it can be darker also. Why darker? I am telling you. Here is Deccan Plateau. We all know Deccan Plateau where? This is Deccan Plateau region. Now in Deccan Plateau region, which soil is found? Black soil is found. Now these rivers are flowing from the different highland regions of this peninsula India. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. So they are bringing black soil with them and will be depositing along this region, this coastal part, along the coastal strips. So in this way, coastal alluvium is darker in nature. Okay. So this is light in color, lighter in color, and this one darker in color. Now water prevention capacity in which soil will be more, deltaic or coastal? Definitely deltaic, because deltaic alluvium finer texture. Finer texture means they can retain moisture. But in case of coastal alluvium, sandy texture, so it cannot retain moisture for a long time. So water preservation capacity in case of coastal alluvium will be less than the deltaic alluvium. Now deltaic alluvium is replenished each year, we all know, so through the new alluvium, so it is more fertile. But in case of coastal alluvium, here the salt concentration is very much, because it is influenced by frequent tide, not flood, by tide. So tidal activity is there, oceanic influence is there, so salt concentration also will be more in the coastal alluvium. So which one will be fertile in between deltaic and coastal? Definitely the deltaic alluvium will be more fertile. Why? Because here finer sediments, newer alluvium, water preservation is good, and this side all are negative points. Here sand particles is more, porous in nature, water prevention capacity is not that much, salt concentration is more. That's why deltaic alluvium is more fertile than the coastal alluvium. So this is all about alluvial soil types. students face difficulties in identifying which one is coastal, which one is deltaic, which one is inland, and difference between them. Okay, so this is very important so that your concept will be clear. I made this video. Hope this will be helpful to you all. Thank you.